Hi, I'm Fazia Costi. I'm the owner of 54 Media Group. It is my honor to present to you the Focus on Success Summit 2024. We have an amazing lineup for you, and we hope that you enjoy each and every one of our presentations. Thank you for joining us.
I'm Dr. Traci.
Hey everyone, I'm Pasquale.
Today we are talking about success, and one of the most important things that I think people should do regarding success is really taking the time to sit down and define what your definition of success is and what that looks like. But not just in the area that you're wanting success in. I guess the majority of people, when we think of success, I think most people think of career or that financial success or stability, yes. Right? But I think it's important to sit down before you're starting any sort of project, venture, career, is to really write down what your definition of success is for your life as a whole person.
I agree. I think that, a lot of times people will define success as I have a successful career, I have a successful bank account, know. But I think that when you really look at it, success is so much broader and bigger, and it should be every area of your life. It shouldn't just be career, shouldn't just be financial. I mean, those are important.
Yeah.
But there's bigger sides to it, and I think you're completely correct.
Yeah.
I would define it as multiple layers.
Right, and again,
like a Big Mac.
When we're talking about like career success, we usually also go to materialistic, external things that show we're successful, right? Like I want to be able to afford this. I want a house in this place. I want, so much money in my bank account. I want to be able to, travel or things like that.
Yeah.
And it's so much bigger. Actually, I love to do this with clients as a therapy homework. And again, I gotta warn you, like this is a pretty morbid.
I'm already shaking my boots. So
it's a pretty morbid exercise, but I love it because it really makes you think. And so what I do is I have them write their own eulogy.
I do the exact same thing.
Oh my God, we've never talked about that.
We've never talked about this. It's crazy. So important.
Yeah. And it's wild because when you think about it, I tell them, write your own eulogy, as if like, what do you want to be remembered for? Because at the end of the day, most people that when they're on this path to career success, I want to be in management. I want to be in upper management. I want to be CEO. I want to, this kind of stuff. They're on this path with kind of like blinders and not looking back. But yet at the end of the day, is that really what you want? Your friends and family, you think you just want them to say, oh, well, they were a great business person. They were really successful in business. I'd be like in tears if that was me in spirit. Like
I would be standing there going, no.
What did I do with my life?
I have more. You can't hear me, but I have more.
I know. There was more of me, I swear.
It's true. I will tell you, I actually did this exercise for myself several times because I wanted to define like who was I and what is my definition of success, because for a while I think just like everyone else I viewed success as I have this amazing corporate career where I get to travel and I'm making great money. And
I still can't picture you in corporate, by the way, but
God,
that's okay.
It's not very different than this, to be real honest with you. Not very different. You just can't turn flame off. Like I am on fire, and there's nothing that deflates that. Which a lot of people have gone to therapy because of it, but not me because I love myself.
Oh God. Okay.
But my point of that is like when you go through that, like you start to recognize, like I actually went through that in the exercise, and in my right before I started my self-employment, I asked myself, I'm like, what do I really want to be remembered for? Like, what is it about me? What is my success? And it had nothing to do with that career, and it had nothing to do with money or travel, to be honest with you. It was more about, I want to be able to really do what I love. I want to be able to uplift people. I want to be able to spend time with my family and enjoy them.
Right.
And not be so bogged down by work.
It forces you to reassess the priorities that you're currently living by, right? And then the second part of this is once you identify what your definition of success is as a whole person, right? So then for me, the second part is putting those things in a priority list, right? Because a lot of us will say, oh, our family is the most important thing. But then you look at how you're living and you're not living in alignment with those priorities, right?
Yes.
Because we're putting, work first or friends first or, something else first above that. And so now, and when we're not living to our authentic self, congruent with our own priorities, values, morals, things like that, we're going to find dis-ease, right? And maybe you can speak further into that, just like spiritually, energetically, what that does.
Yeah, I mean, I think the word itself defines it, right? Dis-ease.
Right.
Put that together, and what does it create? Disease, right? Like it creates this really pandemonium in your body where your body is just not in a good place, you know? I remember years where it was like I would be traveling, I'd be doing all this, and I really wasn't happy. And I could feel it in my body. My body would tell me every time, I would just have these reactions to it. And that's the disease, right? It's just you're not living your authentic self. So what are you going to do about it?
Right.
Right? Because we're not supposed to be walking around the world with these blinders on going, I wake up, I go to work, come home, eat dinner, go back to sleep.
The hamster wheel.
Yeah, it's totally
it's not living. You're just on autopilot.
You're just going through the motions and there's really no life there.
And our body will tell us, right?
Yes.
When we're not living congruently or with our authentic self.
I mean, there are so many examples in life. Like even if you were to look at like sitcoms out there, right? There are sitcoms out there where the people like live this life of like authenticity, right? And then the minute they step into that squared box of I'm in that hamster wheel and my blinders are on, they have heart attacks, right?
Yeah.
Or like things happen on the show because they're not living who they really are.
Yeah.
And I think it's not, and I'm going to preface this because I'm feeling this somewhat, I'm not saying that a corporate job is not good. I'm not saying money isn't good, right? I think you have to define it for yourself.
Exactly.
When I define it, that wasn't for me
what
that definition or what it looked like, right? But for others, it could be, right? It's all about kind of that balance, and really knowing it.
Well, I mean, I was working as a psychologist, but I was working at, a maximum security prison because I started out in forensic psychology. But,
That is not shocking to me.
Oh, probably not.
I never even knew this about you.
What?
I don't know how I did not know that.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Forensic psychology?
Yes.
Did not know.
That was the whole beginning of my career. And so this is part of the story. So but every Sunday night where I worked on, Monday, I would get the pain in my stomach. I would have such just a stomach upset. I couldn't eat. I had anxiety. I started getting migraines. I would have every once in a while I would get this pinched nerve that where I could not move. I mean, my body started manifesting it, and I'm going to the doctor and I'm like, what's wrong? And I'm trying to, work out and eat healthy. And, and after a couple years, I'm going, this is not serving me. I am not happy. Yes, I'm a psychologist, which was, the end goal, but I'm not happy doing this here. And so I went through this process myself as well. And I had to reevaluate what my priorities are. And that was, helping people and spirituality and animals and, things like that and just laughter. Well, the prison, of course, had none of that. And it was just like
I can't even imagine.
away my soul, day by day. And obviously that was manifesting itself. And so that's actually what sparked us to move to Arizona and open a spiritually based private practice with animals and, me just being able to authentically be myself. I mean, just in dressing casually and seeing clients and just connecting with clients and developing that rapport and incorporating all these healing modalities. And that just fed my soul, and it just gradually grew from there, and then, I was able to find my place, which was really amazing. And so
I would agree. I think that you've really found your place.
Thank you. So
I only say one nice thing a day.
That's it. It's done. So in doing that though, you have your own business, I have my own business. And so we both know like the struggle of that in terms of, defining our success and our priorities in life. Mm-hmm. I think both of our priorities are, our family and our kids. And and then like friends and like
overall
serving
well-being.
Our community and spiritual growth. Like I think that is all of that is for both of us. But especially when you're starting your own business or you're on this path, right, that takes a lot of your time and attention, it is so easy to get out of alignment because again, you have those blinders on and you're just going full speed ahead. And because really with your own business, we could work, because there's a lot outside of clients. And so, I could find something to do 24 hours a day to work on my own business. And so you can get caught up in that kind of race, that momentum very easily. And so the reality is there's times that those other priorities are going to have to be put on the back burner, and something else like work or something is going to have to take priority. But you have to be really careful, because at some point you need to reevaluate your priorities and then rebalance yourself out.
I was just going to say, I think when it comes down to it, it's about finding the balance, right? Because I would agree, like one of the biggest challenges, I left this corporate job where, realistically, I worked hard. I traveled a lot. I was doing a lot. I was replaced by several people. And the biggest thing was I was thinking, I'm going into this entrepreneur space where I'm going to be helping people and just doing more of my stuff. Mm-hmm. But the truth is that it doesn't work out that way, right? You're doing more. I have many hats I wear.
Exactly.
But when it comes down to it, I think it's always making sure you find balance, mm-hmm. and then also setting priorities. Like I have a rule that I have followed since I started as an entrepreneur, and that is I will not work a Sunday. Mm-hmm. It is a rare thing for me to work it. And I do that because for me, I need a day for me to just unwind, be with the family,
self-care,
and just
skills,
exactly
quality time.
Like no time is really the thing for me on a Sunday. I wake up, I do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I make sure that I cuddle with the kids and I play with the dogs and I'm doing me things.
It fills your soul.
It does.
And it, releases any, tension, stress from the work week, and so you can start fresh. But you're also being true to yourself.
Yes.
Because you're living in alignment with your real priorities. You're not just saying this is a priority and then behaviorally in reality, it's not.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So we don't just want to say it; we want to live it.
Well, you wanna really. I think it goes back down to creating that plan in your mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does that eulogy sound like, and how are you incorporating that in your life?
Yeah.
But I also think if I do work a Sunday, because there's been an occasional, not many, but a couple, I always make it up.
Right.
Like I make it a point to find a different day where I say, you know what, I couldn't do that, but we're going to do this that day. Mm-hmm. Right. Or I'm going to be a little bit late, but I'll meet you and I'll make it up tomorrow. And I make it a point to stand by my word and actually make that happen. Right. So it's not just me working 7 days going, oh, I missed that. It's me going, okay, no, my body needs that time. right? That to me is success.
And I think when we have to shift the priorities, like say we are doing something where work has to take priority for, a certain amount of time, whether that's a couple weeks, a couple months, whatever it is, if you have a project or something you're starting, to have a conversation with your family, with your kids openly, and let them know, that, you guys, I love you guys, like this is not like, but I need your support through this time. It's only going to be temporary, and kind of give them a timeline. And then also, then we have to make that extra effort to spend time with them when we can, but then also maybe adding some little things to just let them know, random text here and there, or, a little note in their lunchbox, or,
totally.
what I mean, or
to
just kind of like, coming in and just giving them a extra big hug and kiss, or, if we're able to read them a book or something, where, even just the little things to just say like, I love you, I miss you, just, one more month, or the kids can do a countdown on the calendar of when, and then plan something. I like to have something planned, like at the end of that.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Celebration.
Like, yeah.
You have to
where
celebrate
we do something
life.
fun together, and then they're kind of looking forward to that, and kind of bringing them into that, so it doesn't feel like it's a sacrifice, not only for you, but for them too.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you're making them a part of it, but you're also teaching them how to balance themselves, because they're going to one day be, faced with those same situations.
Well, you're teaching.
Right.
And I will tell you, like, I have to just kind of digress a minute, because I did that with the lunchbox thing. I would do it for years with both the kids. And this year I did it to my son, and he was like, he came home and he handed it and the note back to me, and he was like, I'm too old for that now.
Oh,
please don't embarrass me.
Oh my
again.
God.
And I was just like, oh my God, it just says I love you. Don't ever stop loving. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, like, it became a whole big lesson, but I was just like,
that's so normal.
You're not that old.
That's
so now I purposely drive him to school and I love you as I roll down the window. Just scream it out for a minute.
I know. As soon as I know that they don't want something, it's like all you want to do is just do it
You're
even more.
gonna get it more now.
Totally.
But that's the fun of it, right? Like,
right.
That is what I signed up for.
Right. Exactly.
And I think that is the important thing is really kind of defining that for yourself.
And then we have to be disciplined and strict on that, because I know you and I both went through this when we were starting the business, when we first started working together. It's like, we want to help people, especially when we have a client contact us and they're, in, some sort of crisis and need, they request an urgent appointment. It's like, of course we want to fit them in. And we were doing that a lot though.
Yeah.
And we were getting burnt out. And meanwhile, our family is feeling neglected, and we had to reassess our priorities. And I said, okay, how am I going to do this? And I really had to be strict on the times that I was going to see clients. Like, I have now a strict end at 5, which is kind of hard for therapy because people have to work. But I'm like, I have to give, those clients to the other providers, because, that's something for me and my own self-care. And then also the number of clients per day, I really try to keep to that. And then I have 1 or 2 days that I could be a little bit more flexible with myself, and then also adding in my yoga, my running, that self-care stuff is just as important.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I need it, or you don't want to be around me if
I've been around.
If I'm not running or doing yoga.
I remember those days. I would agree. I think that's one of the biggest lessons that I will say I learned from you, was that I need to create better boundaries in order to allow things to happen. And that doesn't mean that you don't have one-off days, or where you kind of add someone, or
right.
I mean, we're in the business of helping people, so it's never a 9 to 5. This is it in those boundaries. Right. There's always more to it.
But that was part of the problem.
True.
Is that there was this open flexibility, and we were just
it was
adding
too
clients. Open. Right, exactly. So it's we had to really think about what kind of rules, boundaries we wanted to set for ourselves. But then you have to implement it, and you really have to be strict about it. And it's hard in the beginning, but it
she
became
used to
a
yell
lot.
at me.
Oh, I did. Yep.
She was like that 1950s school teacher that slapped you with.
If I would have had a ruler. Well, because I had already gone through it first, right? And I saw how beneficial it was for me, and I was seeing the burnout in you.
No, totally.
And I was like,
I said, it was
stop.
life changing. You totally helped me.
Yeah.
I will give you credit. That's 2 nice things today.
Oh my God.
I guess tomorrow I won't have one. Be ready, world. Just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
So you also have to figure out what your boundaries are, right? Write these down, put them in your, implement them, figure out how to implement them. And maybe you don't implement them all at once, right? Because that's a little harder. And anytime we're making changes in our life, we want to, they need to be permanent lifestyle changes, no matter what it is, even if it's like working out or like, including self-care activities and coping skills and things like that. But, we want to just kind of add one thing at a time, make that a normal part of our life, and then add something else.
I will tell you, like one of the exercises that I did on top of this, and I really do teach this, is once you know kind of your path, it's time to create your perfect day. And what does that look like, right? And start at your beginning. I wake up and this is what I do, all the way to I go to bed and this is what I do, right? Yeah. And you kind of incorporate what that perfect day looks like. And what I've done is I've taken that perfect day and I go, okay, now in this day, what are my I won't sacrifice it, right? And whatever those non-sacrificing things are, I put those in my calendar.
Yep, that's what I do too.
So like workout is in my calendar.
Dinner, I have my workouts in my calendar. Yeah, that's perfect.
My dinner days go in my calendar.
And you do it just because that is just as important as some sort of business meeting or anything
It
else.
is a business meeting.
Right.
It's a business meeting with yourself. But that's what I did, and I continue to do
and that helps.
And it doesn't mean that it's Wednesday and I was up late last night, and so I don't want to go to the gym today, so I'm just going to cancel that meeting. Well, we all cancel meetings,
right?
I mean, like, it's life, right?
Yeah,
it's okay. Make it up another day. Build the balance.
Right. You can remain flexible with yourself, of course, because things, life happens, right? And life
every day.
Unpredictable.
Life happens to us all.
Yes, we can certainly be flexible at times, but like you said, you make it up, you reschedule, you figure it out, but you're not losing those priorities.
No, and honor yourself, because I think part of being successful is actually going back and saying, I'm honored who I am. Right. In the process, and I'm going to honor my feelings, my time, my everything. I think it's important. Yeah,
I think it's the key to a happy, peaceful life. So
I love living a peaceful life, and I like being happy. That's one of my
it sucks. Like,
number one statements. Some people do. If you do, call us. Because you have a right to be happy, and you have a right to be successful, but you don't have to sacrifice happiness to be successful. Correct. It should be baked into that pie together. Right.
And I would say even put those reminders in your calendar, like if you are starting some sort of project that is going to take, a month or more, put a reminder in your calendar for whenever you anticipate it being over, say, a couple months from now, put it in your calendar and say, reprioritize.
Or celebrate.
Or balance. But for you to go back in and rebalance and rethink about your priorities.
Totally.
Because it's that reminder, because again, it is so easy to just get caught up and keep going and then not go back.
I actually do it every Friday.
Well, that's a lot. That's a little excessive.
No, but I do it because it is excessive. But you know how we live pretty busy schedules.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like I need to make sure that I'm honoring all of my
Actually,
pieces.
I can see that with you, because you are truly, healing, light worker type, so when you're receiving, requests for appointments and things like that, and, that I know that's really hard for you to keep that structure.
So that's why I do it weekly.
Yeah,
just
so that's
it
good.
reminds myself this is
but
what I
you
can
do it as often, so I mean,
but it's
you
what's
do it
right
as
for you.
often as you need to. But just knowing, don't assume that after the project's done you're just going to go back to, that lifestyle, because usually it just becomes more and more, or you become that. Right, exactly.
You lose sight of it when you're not focusing on it.
Correct. Right. And then something else comes up right after that. Or, some bigger project come out. Right, exactly. Yep.
It's the Big Mac.
Yeah. Good analogy, though. It is.
Sometimes I have them.
So some other things that can help, I think it is really important for us, no matter how busy we are, to make sure that we are living authentically, true to ourselves, right? Because that is the only way we're going to have some peace and happiness in our life. And so are there some things that you recommend on a regular basis? Like, I know, like you always tell me, you're like, ground ground yourself. So, because I'm like the kite, so
ditto. No, I think any type of meditation is always a good thing. And when I say that, sometimes, you might be listening to this going, oh, meditation, I can't sit for that long. Okay, grounding takes 3 minutes. But even more than that, sometimes meditation is just walking outside. Mm-hmm. It's that moment of where your mind is quiet, right? Mm-hmm. That's where you want to get to. Yeah. And for some of us, it's meditating. For some of us, it's walking. Mm-hmm. For some of us, it's riding a bike. Whatever that is, I would bake that into your day as often as you can.
And the busier you are, I'm all about like twofers. So like if you can get like 2 or 3 things in one, don't go there. So
I cannot say that any better. She does like twofers.
Oh my God. So when like you're driving, you can do gratefulness. You could do your gratefulness in your mind if you're walking.
But not meditation. You cannot drive and meditate.
I know. Talking
that is not a twofer.
No, that's not what I said. I said gratefulness list.
We need to put that there because I know people who've been like, I did the meditation. I was driving to work.
Oh my gosh.
No, you didn't. You need to be alive.
But just like running through your head of like, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that,
totally.
Thank you, Lord, whatever it might, whatever you might be saying, or, even when you're, sometimes I'll just go, if I have a busy day and forgot to meditate in the morning, I'll go to yoga like maybe 10 minutes early, and I'll go ahead and lay on my mat, and I'll just do the meditation right before the class starts.
Oh my God, I do that. Yeah. I actually do that every time I go to the gym. If I take a class, I'm always sitting, everyone else is like stretching, and I'm just sitting there going, and I'm letting go.
Right.
And everyone's kind of looking at me going, aren't you preparing? I am preparing.
This is my prep.
My mind is more important.
Exactly.
But I think it's important. Like, that's a good twofer.
Mm-hmm. Right? You like that word? You're going to use that word.
I'm going to use it all day.
Even like with the kids, if you're trying to spend, quality time with the kids, it's like you can incorporate them, and it's a great learning tool to incorporate them in that self-care to say, okay, hey, let's do breathing, and then you let them go. Just show them, like, go through a breathing technique with them of relaxation, or have them set an intention for the day, and then they go off and do their thing, and then you can continue yours.
This is a valid point. It's pretty valid, because I do think sometimes we measure success about us, but it's also the lessons we teach others. Absolutely. And our children are a big factor. Anyone, even our pets, right? Mm-hmm. I can say this, like, I had a dog, and he's no longer with us, but he's with us in spirit. And every morning and every night that I would meditate, he would always be on my lap joining me. Every time. Yeah. There are so many pictures of it. Mm-hmm. My son does it every time he sees me. He's always like, well, can I join? I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's healthy to create that form of success for them.
Right.
Incorporating that in their lives is so great.
But think you're also accomplishing your own self-care, but you're also teaching your kids self-care, and you're incorporating the quality time with your kids.
Which you can't make up.
There's nothing better than that.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be just kids. It could be your partners.
Right.
It could be your friends.
Yeah.
Like
I meditate
anyone.
with my husband. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We all. I think that's a healthy way.
Yeah.
To create that.
We just have to kind of think out of the box, because a lot of times we get in that all or nothing thinking too, which sabotages us. And you got to think, because we're going to say, oh, well, I want to meditate for 15 minutes and my kids would never be able to, they're going to interrupt me. Or, I want to do yoga for an hour and the kids won't be able to keep up, or something like that. But it's like, you can bring them in either for the first couple minutes or the last few minutes, right? To just kind of do the grounding and breathing at the beginning or the end. And then you let them go off and play or do what they're going to do. And then, you do your thing, or just have them kind of stretch in the beginning or after of yoga, and you still do your yoga class.
What I've always said to them is to the people, to the humans that would join me, is because the pets, they just stay.
Right.
And they're so good at it. But to the people, I'm always like, okay, this is going to be, I might be a little longer than you. Mm-hmm. So do me a favor, when you're done, just go ahead and walk out.
Yeah.
Just go do
tap
your own
out
thing.
when you're ready.
Come back. You don't have to let me know you're leaving. I will know. Just go ahead and leave. And then when you're ready, I'll be joining you.
Well, when I ran with my nephews when they were little, I would run, but they obviously couldn't run as long as I could, but they wanted to join me. And so what I would do is I would go around the block with them. So I'm starting my run, and we would be laughing because of them trying to keep up with me and then compete with each other. And it was just fun. And I just said, and then once they were done, then I went off on my path.
And you went farther.
Yeah. And same thing when my dog started getting older, because she would usually go on the whole run with me. But obviously, as she started getting older, I saw that she was struggling a little bit more. So what I would do is I would go ahead and put the harness on her and have the leash right by the door. Because I don't know, after you run, you're and that's so hard to do afterwards. Anyway, so I was trying to figure out a way to make it as easy as possible for me. And so I would do my run, and then I would come back and then just clip the leash. She was ready to go, and then I would take her around the block.
Oh, that's perfect.
Do you know what I mean? And so we still had that. You just have to kind of think out of the box of how can, we come up with so many excuses of why we can't do something instead of going, well, how can I do this?
Can't is a bad word in my house. I'm just saying. I think that everything can happen. Yeah. You just have to want it. But I agree. Mm-hmm. I would do. I've done similar things. I actually have a backpack that my dog would go in, and I would be walking, hiking, whatever. And I just, when he wanted to walk, I let him walk.
And that's our quality time with our pet, and giving them exercise, our own exercise. Threefer.
It's a threefer.
It's a threefer.
I like twofer better. 3 seems a little overstretching for me. I can do 2. 3, you're pushing me to my limit now, and now I'm overwhelmed. Oh my God. So self-care needs to happen soon.
Okay.
But I agree. I think these are things.
So bottom line, in our effort to strive for success, we first have to know, think of it as
what is
success as a whole person in all areas of our life. Again, think about how you want to be reminded, when people are talking about you at, your funeral. I know it's a morbid way to think about it, but it's reality. And most of us want to be known for our relationships, our love, our kindness
is important,
generosity, our compassion, things like that. So that's we want to make sure we're living consistently with what you believe success is at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, thank you.
I 100% agree with you. She is right.
It gets the Pasquale stamp of approval.
And that's good. No, but it's true. And I think just going through that, I think it may feel morbid, but the fact that we both did it
and we have to
didn't
think
even
about
talk
that.
to each other about it.
I know. That's good.
And I've done it for years. Every time
too.
I was ready to do something different, I was always asking myself, what do I want to be known for? Because this isn't it.
Yep. That's true. Okay. All right, so good luck on your path to success.
Good luck and enjoy. Make sure you're living that successful, happy life.
Yes. All right. Thank
Until
you,
next
everyone.
time.
Bye.